fire yourself.
Thank you. You're fired. Has anybody been fired? Oh, I can't be. Have you ever had to fire somebody else? Okay, so a few hands. There's an uncomfortable awkwardness that accompanies that time. There's very little comedy that's happening, or comedy that's happening at that point in time. The nerves of the person firing, which I've been in that position, are sometimes more nerve-wracking than the one being fired. The firee walks in, not realizing that he's about to be, or she is about to be terminated. Sat down at the desk, where the firer has contemplated this move sometimes at length. It's rarely as drastic as you might envision it to be. You envision fire, because it's in the Word. And to describe fire a little bit, I'm a Boy Scout. I think I've shared that before. I've been on Fathers and Sons, and rule number 1 on Boy Scout camps or Fathers and Sons is don't tell Mom. Rule number 2 is please keep the sticks in the fire. Rule number 2 is rarely followed. And being that good Boy Scout, I felt comfortable with fire. When I first moved into my big house, there was a big maple tree. And on the left-hand side of the maple tree, there was a mound that looked like somebody had been buried there. Thinking no thought of it, did not give it any thought, did not worry about it, until I was in the house for exactly 2 days. Then I just had to know. Was there a body? Maybe a hidden treasure? Nope. It was the stump of the other maple tree. It had died and somebody chopped it off, and me being a good city slicker that I am, thought back to the times that I heard about farmers burning the logs out of their ground. So I did what any good homeowner would do. I walked into the garage, got my drill, my big old bit on it, and bored some big old holes in it. Whom, whom, whom. I looked at that hole. I know what would really help that. Some gasoline. Now keep this in mind, this is when gas costs like 75 cents a gallon. So I applied the gas liberally in thoughts that it would seep down into the stump. I laid in the house to think about my next action. I waited a good 5 minutes, walked back out there with my match, bent over, poof! This ball of smoke and fire came up so high. I lost my eyebrows. What? No. This flame, Moses might have called the burning bush, was now catching this beautiful maple next to it on fire. I could only imagine the neighbor in the next house over looking and dialing 911. So my infinite wisdom, I ran over, turned on the fire hose, rather the garden hose, sprayed water across a gasoline fire. Water, gasoline, they don't really mix, right? Now I have singed the lawn well out into the sidewalk and my driveway. I've already singed my hair and realized the next best option is to kick mud on it. There I am, stocking feet, kicking mud to put out a fire of a burnt stump. That's what we think about when we think of fire. It's big. It's massive. It draws a lot of attention. In that case, it was unwanted. After I put the fire out, I got a call from my employer that I was fired from my job. I really wasn't fired. I was let go due to budget cuts. This was my very first home. I called the real estate agent and said, hey, quick question, is this like totally my home or just mostly my home? He goes, no, it funded 2 days ago. It's totally your home. Cool. You ever had that feeling of wondering how you're going to pay next month's rent? I was like that log now. I was on fire. I realized that in order to accomplish my dreams, I had to go to college. Do you realize what it takes to accomplish your dream sometimes? If you know what you're missing and aren't putting forth the effort, that fire of not knowing how you're going to pay your next month's mortgage will get you fired up. I went back to college. I finished at the community college, keeping in mind that when I was in 12th grade, I was told I was too dumb for college. But I figured out you just had to check off the boxes. You know what? They gave me a degree 2 years after that from Weber State University because I checked off enough boxes. I became a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, because I checked off enough boxes. I ended up getting my MBA because I checked off enough boxes. Find out what your goal is, determine what it takes to get there, and then figure out how to fire yourself up. Not every fire is going to be huge. Like the one to get my MBA, I did a bunch of research. I wasn't going to make any more money getting an MBA, but it was something inside. My DTM wasn't because there was more money at the end of the rainbow. It's because I wanted to become a better speaker. There was something inside. Feed that fire. Don't be afraid to fire yourself before the boss requires it of you. I know you can do it. I've done it. I've seen plenty of family and friends who have done it. It's not always easy. There will be obstacles. There'll be times you want to quit. But if you know what you're really after, and you're willing to bear down and dig some deep holes, you're willing to put some gasoline on it, find a way to ignite it, you can accomplish your dreams. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ross.